Alright guys, so I was going to give you a little bit into the 3D printing stuff. So if you wanted to, everybody uses a test cube to do their printer stuff. Uh, you can actually download an STL file for that to do your stuff, but I'm going to make my own. So that's a 40 by 40 cube, and I'm using Windows 3D Builder. You can do anything you want with that cube, make it any size you want. Right now it's 40 millimeters. I can actually change that to 60 or 60 that way and leave the height at 40. Whatever you want to do. We're going to go with 40. So what we're going to do is we're going to leave it just like this, and we're going to click Save As, and I'm going to pick just the desktop. I'm going to save it as an STL file, and I'm going to write test. I'm going to click Save, and then we're going to close this out. Now we're going to go into Cura, and I have it currently set. These are all my printers. I currently have it set on the Ender 3 Pro BL Touch, and that's the printer I'm going to use. So what I want to do is import it. There's our test folder. Hit open, and as you can see, it's just a regular cube, and we're going to put it right in the middle of the build plate. So right now I'm set at low quality, and I'm just going to print this at standard quality, and it'll ask you, do you want to keep your current changes, blah blah blah. I'm not. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in here and I'm going to pick my material. I'm going to set it to 205 because that's what mine prints the best at. Everybody's is a little bit different. Supports, I don't need them. Material, we just done that. Infill, we really don't need 20 on this. We can do, I don't know, we'll just do 10. And walls, that's fine. So we've got everything set, and we're going to click Slice, and it shows that it's going to take 1 hour and 45 minutes to print that. So we'll click Preview, and this will give you a preview of how it's going to print, and this shows you layer by layer, start to finish, of how to print it. So I don't have my micro SD card handy, so I'll show you in a minute how to do that. Alright, so I got my micro SD card, and I'm going to put it in. And you should see this change down here. Well, maybe. There it goes. So here's all the stuff that I've already got saved to this. So I'm just going to close that, and I'm going to click on Save to Removable Drive. And then I'm going to click Eject. And then you can just close it out. So after that, we're going to load it into the printer, and I'm going to show you how that goes. Alright, so we're in my printer room, and I'll show you some of my printers and stuff. It's kind of a mess in here, so just kind of overlook it. I need to straighten up and organize a little bit. But so here's 3 of my printers. They are all Ender 3s. One is an Ender 3 and 2 are Ender 3 Pros. That's the regular Ender over here. then both of these are Ender 3 Pros, and I have done tons of upgrades to them. Both Pros actually have a micro Swiss direct drive on them, and I've went to touch screens on all three, and silent motherboards, all kinds of stuff. They've all been updated. Then over here is my CR6 SE, and it's had some upgrades done to it, as well as all metal hot end. Plus, it's had different firmware put on it. Then I've got the Big Daddy, which is the CR10 S5. So it does almost 20 by 20, and I built both enclosures that these are in. This one here I've actually been working on. I'm doing a different hot end from what it originally came with, and I just haven't finished doing all the stuff to it, and I've done a bunch of other upgrades to it, and just haven't finished it yet. We'll get to that. It's actually got a standalone bed heater on it, and a couple other things, so it gets more evenly heat to hold your stuff down. My CR6, I'm actually trying to clean the printer bed right now. I've got it soaking in water. It's pretty nasty. So yeah, just a little look around. This is my filament and stuff, and this is, where I paint and do stuff. Here's one of the guys that I painted, and there's another one that I've got to finish painting. The guitar hanging on the wall, that is completely 3D printed. At least the body is. The neck and the guard and stuff is actually, I bought it in a kit, and the pickups and all that stuff, but it actually does play. Even what it's hanging on the wall with is 3D printed. And of course, I've got some other stuff in here that's been 3D printed, like the hand there, Terminator hand, and then I got the Bane mask and some other stuff. Most of my 3D prints aren't in this room, they're actually in my other room. But I just wanted to give you a little show around, and then I'm going to show you loading this. I'm going to use this printer, because the other two, this one has a clogged nozzle. I need to fix the nozzle, and well, this one's out of filament. So that one's got a clogged nozzle. This one's good to go. I got to clean the build plate on that one, and the nozzle needs to be changed. It's got last time I printed with it kind of acted like a clog, so I'm just going to go ahead and change it out, which I'm actually printing PETG with it, and these two I'm actually printing just regular old PLA. Now there's several different types of material. There's PLA, PETG, ABS, carbon fiber, metal infused, wood infused, just there's tons. Rubber, so TPU, anything like that. And pretty much, if you can think of it, or if you can come up with a file or find a file for it, you can print it. So let me turn this one on. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to slide the bed out for a minute. And I'm going to click prepare. And I'm going to hit preheat PLA. So what that does is I have it set for my nozzle temperature to be at 205, my bed temperature to be at 60. Now that is Celsius and not Fahrenheit, for people that don't know anything about 3D printing. So while that's heating up, I'm going to go ahead and take my micro SD card and slide it in the slot, if I can find it. There it is. Let that go on in there. Now, a lot of people, they'll use tons and tons of different things to adhere your prints to what they call the bed, which is this. Now, most of these don't come with a glass bed. They come with a different kind of material that's flexible, which makes it easier to get your prints off of, but you don't get as accurate or as smooth prints, I find, with the glass bed. Now, everybody's different and everybody prefers different things, and that's fine. Whatever works for you. I just prefer glass. I've got glass on all three of these, glass on that one, and glass on my big one. So, you know, it's just preference. Now this mount here, I used to have a webcam mounted to this, and I used Octoprint through a Raspberry Pi that I could keep track of my prints, and it would tell me if there was a failure or anything like that. And you know, it was a pretty cool feature, and I used it a lot. And then I moved everything from one place I had all this set up to another place, and I just haven't never set it back up, which it's kind of a nice feature, but it can be time consuming in some ways to get everything set up right and all the bugs worked out. But a lot of people use, on your build plates, they'll use glue, which is like regular old glue that you use in school. And you put a nice coating down, and it works great. I've used it several times, and it works really well with like ABS or PETG. And I've actually, one of the prints I've got was, it stuck so well with the PETG, I could just about not get it off the build plate. So when I use anything on these, I kind of tend to use this, and I find that it works well for me. It says not to use it on glass beds, and I have used it for years on my glass beds, and I have yet to have a problem with it. So all you do is unscrew the cap, and it's got a little sponge, and you just press it and kind of give it a squeeze, and you just go back and forth like this, get a nice coating on it, and just let it sit like that for a few minutes. With the heat of the bed, it'll warm up pretty quick, and you shouldn't see no problems. So I like to let it sit there and dry. But what we're going to do is I'm going to set the camera up, and I'm going to show you guys going through the steps of setting it up to print and watching the BL Touch come around and actually probe the bed to make sure the bed is level, and then it saves that information and sends it to the main board, and the main board, when it gets to that certain point in the bed, tells it, hey, there's a high or a low spot or whatever, so it can compensate. Now, for years I used the old paper method, which is stick a piece of paper underneath the nozzle, go around the bed, and level it using the levels on the bottom of the bed, which works great as long as you keep it leveled. And I could level one and do, I don't know, 20-30 prints and never have a problem. Now with this, you still have to level the bed. No matter what you do with the BL Touch, you still have to level the bed. Once you get the bed pretty much leveled, then the BL Touch will take over and pick up all the little tiny imperfections and fix it to its best of ability. I mean, none of this is 100%. You can achieve wonderful prints, and it's all in your settings, and it's all in trial and error and what works best for you. Now, you got to remember your room temperature, all that stuff is a big key when it comes to anything like this. That is why this one is in an enclosure, because when you print with, especially ABS, your ambient room temperature makes a big difference in the quality of your print. And the reason for that is it's a very hard material to print with. Just because it's, I don't know, it's really hard. It takes a lot of practice and a lot of patience, but once you get it and you start figuring it out, then you're good to go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set you guys up and get y'all a close-in look on how this is going to go. All right, guys. So hopefully you can see this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go into filament change, and I just want to run a little bit of filament out of the nozzle just to make sure I don't have any clogs. And it's actually looking like I do. And maybe this one's the one that had the clog. Alright guys, so I actually lied to you, because the one that is actually clogged is the printer I set up. The one that isn't clogged is this printer. So I'll show you again. I've got it all set back up. An SD card works on this one that we already made, so no big deal there. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into prepare again, and I'm going to click change filament, and you can see it there, hopefully. And if we come over here, I'll set you guys the right way, and I click load, then you're going to see, hopefully, some plastic come out of the end of that thing, or filament. And it's there, it's kind of hot. You got to remember, these things get extremely warm, and you can burn yourself very badly. There we go, there comes the filament out. So it pretty much, it dries instantly, and that's what you get. It's just a whole bunch of stringy mess, and when you have one go wrong, it's called a spaghetti accident. So nobody wants a spaghetti problem. So what we're going to do is, since we've got that set up and everything seems to be working, we're going to go ahead and go back to the start, and we're going to click on print. And I know you probably can't read these, but I'm going to click on the first one that's on there, which is the one we made on the computer, and it's called test G code. So you click the test G code, and it's going to ask you, print this file. You're going to say confirm. So what that's going to do is make the printer start its command. Take off of there. So this is where it goes across and it probes the bed with the BL Touch and makes sure that it gets the most level that it can be for each spot on the bed.
or in segments, I should say, on the bed. Alright, so now what it's doing is it's heating itself up to the correct temperature. And it's going home and it's going to run the very start of the print. It's probably hard to see. It's going to lay down the first layer. And as long as that first layer is good, it sticks good, the rest of the print will stick and will be good to go. As you can see, it's making the outline. And it's going to take about an hour to print this. I'm not going to let you sit here for an hour and watch it print. We're going to go ahead and do a time lapse. Here we go. So she finished printing, and this is what we ended up with, and it just pops right off of there, and you can see it looks pretty good. So this is the side that was down, and it's got some strings on it. We'll just, pull them off, and still got a few there. Hard to get them off. I usually take like a cigarette lighter or something like that and just hit them real quick. So this is the side that was facing down, and you can see it's shinier than, say, this side, the side that was up. And the reason for that is the build plate. Otherwise, that looks pretty good. So I use these test cubes to make sure that there's no problem really with the printer. And yeah, I mean, to me, that cube looks pretty good. If I were to print something on this thing right now, that would tell me that it's pretty much good to go. So you do get a scraper with just about all of these, and what that does is helps you get your material off when you're done, even your print. So just makes life a little easier. Once you're done, you just peel everything off and you're good to go. And yeah, there's our little cube. Now, you can make any design that you really want. I just prefer to print a cube for testing. That way I can see all my layers, and it's hard to see, but there is little lines all the way through that, and if you look close you can see how it's made on the inside, especially on the lighter color. You can see it kind of on the orange, but like if it was white you could see inside it real well. But yeah, so that's our introductory to 3D printing and design, and I'll have a lot more to come. I've actually got a print for a buddy of mine, and we'll get into it, and I'll do a video on getting this printer. Since it had a clog, I'll show you guys how to go about getting that clog out of this one and changing the nozzle, which I actually took the nozzle out of it already. I'll show you what that looks like. So that's the nozzle, and I use steel nozzles instead of the brass nozzles, which both work good. But as you can see, that's my daughter's hand. As you can see, or maybe not see, there is some stuff stuck in the end of that one. But yeah, we'll do a video on it, and that'll be coming up soon. There's my daughter. She wanted to say hi. So yeah, my daughter's freaking out right now because of her loose tooth, and it's bleeding a little bit, but she won't let Dad pull it out. Let me know in the comments, guys, if she should pull her tooth out. Anyways.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Anyways, that's it for this video. Next video, I'll show you some more stuff on it. I'll have another video coming out soon, hopefully, on the golf cart. I've got some of the parts in. I've got the rear bags and the other front bag, so we can go ahead and start making the mounts for all of those and figuring out where we're going to place them. I actually have a buddy of mine coming over sometime this weekend, and he's going to help me lift the body off of it, because the body is about 250 pounds, and it's kind of hard to get off there by yourself. So I guess that's it for this video, guys, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Yeah. Subscribe.
Subscribe.